Fox Soul challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams, ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face Off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Video surfaces of a man police say might have been a victim of a hate crime. This happened after officers say an intoxicated man walked into a Marshall County club and used the N-word when referring to the patrons.
Investigators say that the bar is also a problem spot. They say that they respond to it several times every weekend.
Fox 13's Daniel Wilkerson is live outside CJ's Lounge on Memphis Street in Holly Springs. So Daniel, how is this man police are calling a victim?
Daryl and Darcy, good evening to you. Good evening to you at home. They say he didn't go to the hospital until today. He believes he may have a broken jaw. Meanwhile, CJ's Lounge is now closed. Police say that they were operating without a beer or a business license. Holly Springs police say cell phone footage they provided to Fox 13 News shows a Tippah County man who has been stripped naked. They say the people who attacked him are seen pouring on him what investigators believe to be beer. Officers say seconds before, they hit, kicked, and stumped nearly every part of his body.
The guy walked in and he was very aggressive.
Miles Stone says he was at CJ's Lounge on Memphis Street late Saturday night into Sunday morning.
Other guys in the area was listening, trying to remain calm. We asked them, they asked for him to leave quietly.
But police say the man continued to call the patrons the N-word. Holly Springs police provided another video of the man outside the bar, speaking erratically, throwing what investigators believe to be gang signs.
When they was scuffling and stuff outside, he was still trying to fight. He still was saying the N-word, N-word. Man, F-U-Ns, F-U-Ns.
Officers say the attackers used poles and sticks to beat him. So you don't think this is a problem spot?
I do not think. I think it's a positive spot.
But Holly Springs police disagree. The police chief estimates they've been to some 30 calls over the last 3 months CJ's has been open. They say there have been fights, guns found inside, and a man shot in the foot. The chief tells me they're pushing the district attorney to declare it a nuisance.
I'm not standing for anything like that. However, we have to live with our choices, and he made a choice by going into there aggressively, and he has to live with the choice he's made.
In this round, here's Quan LX.
Charles, we just watched a video of a Caucasian gentleman who was assaulted, beaten with sticks and poles, and kicked repeatedly on the ground, and even while he probably was standing in Mississippi because he decided to go into a black establishment that patronizes black people, enjoying themselves. And he goes in using and throwing around the N-word. And according to this particular eyewitness, he said that they tried to encourage the man to leave, to chill, to stop. And obviously he exited the club and went outside and continued the abusive racial language and racial hate tones he was using with bigoted words. And they whooped the dog isn't out of him. I have to be honest with you, I don't feel sorry for this man. In fact, I think he earned that whooping, then had the nerve to be in front of the club, continues using the racial slur of the N-word, then throwing up gang signs. He's repeatedly throwing up gang signs, so he might have took the ass whooping because he was throwing up the wrong set gang signs in that particular neighborhood that just catapulted the situation, and something had to be done. So how do we really know it was about his race why he got whooped? He might have got whooped and thrown up those gang signs.
I mean, we are assuming that he did say these horribly racially pejorative words. And we have obviously had several incidents where racial words were attributed to victims of an assault that it turned out to be a lie.
Where? When?
Well, Austin Metcalf. You did it right here on the show.
Excuse me. I didn't say use the N-word toward him.
Anyhow, let's, but that's, I mean, it does seem like if you look at the video, the guy was acting out. And there are, I mean, I've been in a situation, although it was in a predominantly white establishment. Shout out to my buddy Dez. He was sitting at a table with my wife, and I had gone away, and some guy sat down next to him and started using really pejorative language to the point my wife picked up the other man's body, had set his beer down, and she picked it up and said, if you say it again, I'm gonna hit you in the head with it, because my wife rolls like that. And Dez, trying not to get arrested, when I got back and I was apprised of the situation, the man and I went outside, and he decided he didn't want to fight. So I do know there are white people that do that kind of horrible stuff, right? I don't think we can assume that this guy did, but let's say he probably did. It does not justify breaking his jaw and beating him with weapons, right? Now, what it does do is if there are charges brought on this, it would be a mitigation argument by defense counsel, either to the assistant district attorney when you're negotiating a plea, or if you go to trial, when you're arguing for something called juror nullification, and you say, look, this guy brought it on himself by rolling up in the club and dropping these horrible
and
pejorative
attempting to
language.
provoke and insult
but it's not
everyone.
a legal defense to prosecution, to beating someone.
But how you
with
know
a
his
weapon.
race is what got him beat up, though?
Okay, but it doesn't matter. You can't hear words and then beat
But
someone with
we
a
can see the
pipe.
gang signs.
Okay,
We can see him throwing up the gang signs. So maybe it was the gang signs that got his ass whooped.
But whatever it was, words and hand gestures do not provide a legal avenue for beating someone down.
But he earned that
stripping of the
whooping.
club. I don't. If
He earned that whooping.
If he did what they're saying he
begged
did,
for that
I
whooping.
think on a moral ground, he absolutely earned that whooping.
They
On
only
a
gave
le-
him what he was
on-
looking for.
On a legal ground, both in Mississippi and in Texas, there is not a defense to prosecution for a violent assault, aggravated assault with a weapon, which if they're beating him with pipes and broke his jaw, that's what that is, because someone used mean words, right?
According
And
to
we
the
don't
witness,
need to-
he wouldn't stop yelling
Okay,
the N-word.
But we don't need
Even
to-
when the fight started, he
we
wouldn't
don't
stop
need to
yelling the N-word.
propagate the notion that people are justified in severe violence because someone uses an ugly word. It's not legally justified.
In a normal
and it
setting, I
exposes
agree with you.
Okay.
But Charles, you go into a nightclub, and obviously it looked like he had been drinking heavily. You go into a nightclub where everybody's drinking alcohol, and you go in there yelling
get it.
racial slurs.
I get it. Why that dude got to look like me too?
Then
Did
you
see
go
him at the end?
outside. Yeah, I thought you little brother. Then went outside and started throwing up gang signs.
Hey.
He begged for that ass whooping, Charles.
I agree, but here's your tremendous double standard. I can't count the number of racial pejoratives for white people you have flung at me in this room.
When?
Give me 10 right now.
Oh, my
Give me 10
God.
right now, just off the top of your head.
Of course not.
No, come on, give me 10. I know you got 10 ready to go.
See, now you're salty,
Okay.
but you shouldn't be salty.
I should be what, a saltine?
No, I like salt on my cracker. But
okay.
listen, the bottom line is, you
But
just
would that justify
misconfused.
me being violent towards you?
Where? What did I say?
What is it? Like napkin
I just like a
man,
little salt on my cracker.
mayonnaise boy.
I know,
What,
walking choke stick. But listen to me, you got to understand something.
does it? I mean, it
If
doesn't-
you go into somebody, that's like me walking into a country western bar.
Okay.
Okay, I walk into a country western bar, and I'm in Confederate flags rolling and American flags, which is one same flag these days, and I start yelling crackers.
Did you just say the American
crackers,
flag and the
crackers.
Confederate flag are the same thing these
The
days?
white
What
supremacists
is
and the
wrong
white
with you?
supremacists in America have usurped the American flag.
Absolutely
the
not.
right-wing Trump-loving
Absolutely
supporters
not.
have usurped the American flag
Absolutely
and
not.
made it equal to the Confederate flag now.
that
That's why when you
is
see the Klan marching,
obscene.
when the Klan march and the white pride groups march, they got the Confederate flag and they got more American flags
Yeah.
rolling now than Confederate flags.
What I find shocking is the number of people that love all the benefits of America that also love to demonize America. You spew hatred
the
about
white
this country,
supremacists have
but
usurped
you
the American
recognize
flag.
that's
Example.
absolutely not true.
There have been cases.
No, it's the
There have been
left
cases
that
at
hates
sporting
America
events.
so
At
much.
sporting events, a black player at a basketball game gets a technical foul, and the crowd starts yelling "USA, USA, USA," like he's a damn foreigner. He's an African American man in America, born in this country. There have been cases at football games where black players do something they don't like, and the crowd starts yelling "USA, USA"
love-
at high school
I
games.
love how you make
USA,
up-
USA toward black students and black players, as though them black children are not American.
You're always ready to manufacture an anecdote, but there is no doubt that there have been examples of bigotry in crowds going both ways in America, but none of that means that our flag that we should pledge allegiance to, that we should honor.
You pledge allegiance to God. You give allegiance to God. You give respect to your nation. You honor your nation, but you pledge allegiance to
which
God.
Which God?
The God that you serve. And I will say this, Charles, the same evil atrocities that took place under the Confederate flag also took place under Old Glory, the American flag.
Look,
We cannot lie or deny. Listen to me. There were slave ships that were brought to America that bore the American flag on them.
Well, most
And
of
in
them
fact,
bore
when
Dutch
America won her independence, black slaves fought, bled, and died for it, and was put back on and left on the plantation after fighting for the American flag. The 4th of July, happy 4th of July. Well, happy 4th of July. Remember, Crispus Attucks, a black man, died for that American flag, and they were still kept in slavery. There's not a damn thing, lynchings and murders, that took place under the Confederate flag that also did not take place on the American flag.
I don't know how we got here, but there's not a. If you look at it,
he earned that whooping. He earned that behind whooping,
I agree.
man.
But you want to talk about the American flag. So the Egyptian flag, slavery. Slavery built the pyramids. There was an unbroken chain of slavery in Korea, I think.
Slaves didn't build the pyramids.
1,400 years.
Slaves did not build the pyramids.
Slaves built the Great Wall.
Slaves did not build the pyramids.
Still exists
the Anunnaki.
openly.
The Anunnaki, the ancestors of civilization itself in America, built the Egyptian pyramids. They were built by the original people, the Anunnaki, not slaves.
Slavery still exists throughout Africa, throughout the Middle East, throughout Asia.
And it's just in America too.
Right? And no, it doesn't.
It's in America too.
And in fact,
read the 13th Amendment. Slavery exists right in America. Read the 13th Amendment, and slavery exists right in America. Just last week, we saw brothers picking cotton by the hundreds in Mississippi.
To ratify abolition, America followed very promptly, and it is the Western world.
We were enslaved for 371 years. How the hell you going to talk about they responded promptly?
And as a world, we evolved, and 600,000 Americans died fighting to.
So then why would Donald Trump end asylum for everybody, but some white folks from South Africa to come into America?
He didn't end asylum for everyone.
And then lie and say it was a genocide. Ain't no damn genocide of white folks in South Africa.
You know what? Well, maybe we could do that there. But my point here, let's hit that topic next. But my point here is that it is not okay to beat someone with a pipe and break their jaw over ugly words.
I agree with you.
While he might
we
have
all
earned
have
it,
freedom of speech.
He earned
but
it.
let me tell you something.
But it's not a legal defense. It's not.
You have a legal right
encourage.
to say it, but don't cry when you're held accountable for what comes out your mouth.
Okay. But that accountability shouldn't involve being stripped naked and beaten with a pipe.
Depending on where you say it at.
Okay, and honestly, I have no empathy for this guy because he seems like a real idiot. But also this nightclub, right? 30 police calls in a month. It suggests that they've got someone getting shot, and they've been open 2 months. That suggests that there are inherent problems.
Well, they didn't have a liquor license.
It seems like there's some
to be honest with you, Charles,
going on in Holly
if
Springs,
they open that time of night and it's not a liquor license, probably a strip club. That's probably what it really was. You would know a little bit about that.
What, strip clubs?
Yeah, you know. I know you would too. I'm just saying yourself. Just sad.
What are you
need
talking
the
about?
10 Commandments.
What are you talking about? You talking about a Harlem Night?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You talking about a Harlem Night?
Hey, besties.
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time.
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
I get the spiritual moments.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Ready to lose track of time the best way possible?
Roll it!
From the funniest videos to the wildest things online, we do the scrolling so you don't have to.
It's Usher. He had that synthetic hair melting. You hear me? Why y'all talking about that lady hair like that? Ain't he alone?
Catch us every weeknight, 7 p.m. Central on Fox Soul.
Louder for the people in the back.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
On May 21st, U.S. President Donald Trump accused his South African counterpart of a so-called white genocide. It's unlikely President Cyril Ramaphosa knew what was coming next. But are any of Trump's claims true? Let's take a look. Claim number 1. A video shows the graves of thousands of murdered white South Africans. This is false. Trump played this video during his Oval Office meeting with Ramaphosa. He claimed the crosses represented grave sites. The White House later posted the video to its official X account. But the video is actually from a 2020 protest against the murders of 2 white South Africans. The organizers of the demonstration have acknowledged the grave markers were symbolic. They were removed after the protest. Some white South African farmers have been killed since apartheid ended in the 1990s. But according to Reuters, those deaths make up less than 1% of all homicides. Claim number 2. A video shows a South African politician threatening to kill white farmers. Trump also played a clip from a march demonstration in which the crowd, including the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters Party, Julius Malema, sang "Kill the Boer." Boer means farmer in Afrikaans, the language spoken by many white South Africans. The anti-apartheid song emerged in the 1980s. Historians told Al Jazeera that the song is part of the theater of mass insurrection, and it is usually accompanied by a dance, as seen in the video. This video was recorded at a rally to commemorate the Sharpeville massacre in 1960, when apartheid police shot dead at least 91 black people.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
Okay, so that was an Al Jazeera fact check of the confrontation at the White House between our President Donald Trump and the President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, who has been highly critical of Donald Trump's decision to offer asylee status to white South Africans who can articulate that they've been persecuted by violent crime directed at them because of their race. This parsing by Al Jazeera sounds like the parsing we heard about the Sweden rape crisis, about the child grooming gangs and rape crisis in the UK. He started with talking about the symbolic graves. Trump makes a lot of silly mistakes. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. But absolutely, those grave markers were symbolizing dead farmers who were attacked because of their race in the wake of another incredibly violent farm attack, right? There is absolutely no doubt that people are being targeted and murdered for their race in South Africa. There's no doubt that there are a number of statutes that have been on the books for a while now that allow for significant discrimination against white South Afrikaners who have been, who've been there for 400 or 500 years. There are absolutely no doubt that South Africa as a whole is underwater with incredibly violent crime, and it is probably the most unsafe nation in the world. That's just something that's agreed. So the question is, so Cyril Ramaphosa is not in a party that uses, and we heard the parsing of, kill the Boer just means kill the farmer. That's not true. Kill the Boer means kill the white man, right? It means kill the white farmer, right? And
what's wrong with that?
Hold on. The prior president of Africa gleefully sung it, Ramaphosa's predecessor. The current opposition party leader is constantly promoting that concept. They're talking about forcible land seizure and other things. And there is far less. The Biden administration allowed millions of asylees to come in this country with no paperwork, no vetting, just saying, oh yeah, we're from Honduras and it's violent there, or we're from El Salvador. We have millions of people. We relocated a great number of Somalians to this country during the Obama administration. We're talking hundreds of thousands. Absolutely no complaint from anyone. But we let 59 white people in, And then all of a sudden, everybody's mad about asylum. There are some numbers. We let millions in during the Biden administration. And this is just another very clear example of, hey, it's good for everyone else, but not white people. And that's insane.
You know, for you to sit there
I'm
and
sitting
try
here.
to whitewash
I'm
the
not
truth
whitewashing anything.
and whitewash the facts is absolutely disgusting.
Let's hear you.
Do you realize
Let's hear your
that the
brilliant take.
very white people claiming persecution for the last 21 to 22 years in South Africa are the very white people who for hundreds of years raped, murdered, robbed, pillaged, and killed everything black that they didn't even like looking at in South Africa.
So they deserve
all
it
of
now.
that land.
So these white people
let me finish.
deserve to be
all
raped
of
and
that
murdered now. That's
land
your argument?
that the white folks are crying about in South Africa is stolen blood land.
Okay.
Their ancestors took it by blood, kept it by blood, and extorted every black person in South Africa to maintain and enrich themselves. Do you know that the number of children that was abducted and put in mass graves in South Africa because of the apartheid rule in that country? To let 59 white people come into America when white scholars who are in South Africa and a few have left have admitted there is no genocide. And for him, Donald Trump, and men like you, to try to sit and say what's happening in South Africa with several hundred white people dying is a genocide, but the loss of 70,000 Palestinians in Palestine is not a genocide, and try to make it seem justifiable shows your white racial hatred toward people of color. This ain't no damn genocide in South Africa. This is nothing more than black people taking back what was stolen from them.
I don't recall screaming and crying and calling you names when people were being allowed into this country as asylees from war-torn areas all over the Middle East. Because they don't, right? What my point is, instead,
ain't no genocide in South Africa.
I didn't call it genocide. I called it a horrible epidemic of murder that is focusing on white people.
But 99% of the murders in South Africa are
again,
black people.
I love that you make up numbers.
No,
right?
look, read the article.
But when you look at
white folks make up 7%.
I know per capita.
7%.
I know per
in South
capita,
Africa.
I know per capita
but
confuses
their murders
you.
equal only 1%.
Okay, I know that per capita, but the truth is, right? The truth is that there is violence being directed at white people and that they are not experiencing justice. There's also violence being directed at black people.
But they're on stolen land, Charles.
But again, no, you can push this.
So you're telling me that the land that the white folks own in South Africa is not stolen?
No, they've been there for centuries.
It was stolen for centuries.
If that's your math,
it was
all
stolen
land
for centuries.
is stolen by everyone. And
Excuse
only complexion, only skin
this
color
man is trying
your
to
rule.
justify apartheid in South Africa.
Absolutely not. I'm not trying
That's exactly what he's doing.
No, I'm not.
And all
What
the
I'm
land
saying is,
and all the wealth and natural resources that they stole is justified according to this man's thinking.
The only reason you and leftists are upset about this handful of white South Africans
because they
being
was
allowed
let
to
in
come
on the
here.
premise of a lie.
No, it's not a lie. There's incredible.
Ain't no genocide taking place in South Africa.
It's a murder capital of the world. People aren't safe. I don't think skin color should be the
there's black
deciding
folks
factor.
dying in South Africa by the overwhelming high numbers.
And you know
not
what?
white people.
Hey, you know what? Let them come over here too. Let them get vetted and come over here too.
You know they're not going to do that one.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
Ready to lose track of time the best way possible?
Rolling!
From the funniest videos to the wildest things online, we do the scrolling so you don't have to.
It's Usher. He had that synthetic hair melting. You hear me? Why y'all talking about that lady hair like that? Ain't he alone?
Catch us every weeknight, 7 p.m. Central on Fox Soul.
Louder for the people in the back.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first-round draft pick during the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
Well, on Fox Face-Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face-Off.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And shut the hell up.
You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face-Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love your mind.
That's it for the Face-Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.
Ready to lose track of time the best way possible?
Rolling!
From the funniest videos to the wildest things online, we do the scrolling so you don't have to.
It's Usher. He had that synthetic hair melting. You hear me? Why y'all talking about that lady hair like that? Ain't it alone?
Catch us every weeknight, 7 p.m. Central on Fox Soul.
Louder for the people in the back.
Well, on Fox Face-Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face-Off.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And shut the hell up.
You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face-Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love your mind.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Ready to lose track of time the best way possible?
Rolling!
From the funniest videos to the wildest things online, we do the scrolling so you don't have to.
It's Usher. He had that synthetic hair melting. You hear me? Why y'all talking about that lady hair like that? Ain't he alone?
Catch us every weeknight, 7 p.m. Central on Fox Soul.
Louder for the people in the back.
Relationship with parents are not always easy, even in the most emotionally stable families. Tonight on The Factor Uncensored, we explore how to deal with those so-called toxic parents, or is it just you? Plus, a rapper says she is waiting to see the money come rolling in from her music. What happens when you have a large social media following, but no money to show for it?
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
Welcome and thank you for joining us on The Factor Uncensored tonight. We're starting off with a brand new Angela After Dark with a focus on parents. An anonymous viewer is asking for help tonight. She says she loves her mother, but she is also suffering from emotional abuse, which is taking a major toll on her. Here's a letter to Dr. Angela Jones.